Welcome back, Houston Hax fans, to another exciting week of the Houston Hax disappoint. No, I'm just kidding. It has been a really, really fun season, a humbling season, and I'm excited to show you this next game. This week we played the Chicago Beartics, I believe. Let's see, what is Prisley's name? Yep, Chicago Beartics. Another team that is coached, really well coached. Prisley has some awesome sets, as always. And his team is very, very dangerous. As you can see, his Dracovish is a big threat. Big threat. So things that we definitely knew that he would bring or that were big problems for us would be Dracovish. We had a couple of answers to Mana Buzz. I wasn't really expecting Mana Buzz. I thought Salazzle actually had a pretty good matchup, especially after a nasty plot. It kind of tore through most of my team. The Wheezing I thought could be an issue. The Steelix I thought would come for sure. I wasn't sure about the Scrafty. I thought Gothitelle was a good pick as it could trap and kill a few of my Mons, especially using a Choice Scarf. But one thing that I really was worried about and hoping he wouldn't bring is the Crustle. Things that I had that were good against it would be Glossopod or Deblade, but I decided to not bring either one of those Mons, making me super susceptible to a Shell Smash. Okay, Shell Smash Crustle literally would have destroyed the team that I wound up bringing. I brought Jolteon, Mew, Arcanine, Toxicroak, Claydol, and Grimmsnarl. That's hilarious. I brought all my fast Mons. We did leave the GOAT behind, aka Drampa, but he'll get his chance to shine here in the coming weeks. But yeah, no, that's kind of the matchup. This one's going to be pretty short and sweet, but let's get to the team. So in the team builder, if it loads here, we have the Jolteon, Mew, Toxicroak, Arcanine, Grimmsnarl, and our Claydol, of course. Let's start with the Arcanine. The team is kind of built around the Arcanine and the idea of how are we going to take shots from the fish? How are we not going to instantly get murdered by Choice Scarf Vicious Rend? Because that seemed like a very, very deadly thing that he could easily bring. Things to counter that. I decided I'd run Sunny Day to weaken his water type attacks, and I decided I was going to run Reflect on Grimmsnarl so that we could give ourselves a chance to have a few Mons survive, since basically none of them live a Vicious Rend. And then also utilizing that Sunny Day, we can allow Jolteon with the Weather Ball to be able to destroy, just rip through his team with Fire, Electric, and Ghost coverage. Because the big problem for Jolteon was the Steelix just coming in and earthquaking it. And so if I had an answer with Weather Ball, which I had some opportunities to get Jolteon in, I just never could utilize it in the sun. That could have been pretty dangerous for me. My Mew was definitely my win condition, as I had coverage for everything except for the Steelix. I could not hit the Steelix hard. I knew even at +1, I'd only do about 25% to that Steelix, so I knew I had to weaken the Steelix. And unfortunately, as you'll see, we just really had a hard time weakening that Steelix. Another member of the team, Toxicroak, who I'm really enjoying using. Unfortunately, and I think it had a good matchup here, but Swords Dance, same set as last week, basically. Max speed, Swords Dance, Gunk Shot, Drain Punch, Sucker Punch, allowing it to outspeed the Gothitelle if he chooses to run a Choice Scarf, so I could hit it with Sucker Punch. And then Gunk Shot hits his entire team pretty hard, again with Drain Punch as well. So Toxicroak was kind of my breaker. And also my water immunity Mon. Dry Skin is super nice to have. I just needed to be careful that I didn't try to overpredict and wind up taking a either an Earthquake or a Psychic Fangs to the face. So basically, The idea was bring in the Arcanine, who's extremely fast, hopefully get a Will-O-Wisp off on the Dracovish if it's slow or a sunny day up. Keep that sun up as long as possible, and then really he didn't have any switch-ins to a flamethrower, especially under sun. And morning sun comboing with sunny day, allowing us to heal 75%. 75% was big time. That is a ungodly amount of health, and especially for a max health Arcanine, pretty nice to have. That's for sure. The Grimmsnarl having Spirit Break and Darkest Lariat. Darkest Lariat mainly being for his little blob man. What's that thing called? Duosion. I don't want that thing to set up and just sweep me. So having Darkest Lariat or any of his mons that want to just set up, I can ignore their boosting and I can just hit them for full damage. But my last set would be Claydol, and I thought I was going to lead Claydol unless I saw the rock bug type, the Crustle. If I saw the Crustle, then I knew I needed to have an answer for it, as it could just shell smash immediately. But I was running Claydol to lead, and hopefully he would lead his Choice Scarf Dracovish, and I could, with the Passo Berry, survive a Choice Scarf Dracovish. I obviously messed up my calcs because I thought I could survive 100% of the time, but I cannot actually when I'm looking at my calcs. If he's adamant, he kills like 100% of the time. If he's jolly, it's a roll in my favor, but we'll see how the game goes here. So let's hop into the game and just kind of break down what happened. So Houston Hax versus the Chicago Beartics. Now the Chicago Beartics, they're a really good team and have a good coach, a coach that I have never beaten before. Okay, I have never beaten Prizzly Bear and I've never beaten Ball. Those are two teams in which I've always had close matches against and have wound up losing. In my undefeated season, my only loss was to Ball. And then last year, I did lose to a Tapu Bulu set, basically 1v6'd my team. So no, Prizzly always is bringing some heat, bringing some cool mons, and this is no different. So unfortunately, right away we see that he brings the Crustle, which is a big problem because that thing can just start shell smashing immediately and start killing everything, or at least that's what I think. So let's go play. Let's work through it. I don't really want the music. I decide I'm going to lead Jolteon and just go for the Volt Switch. I should, if he's max attack, max HP, I should do a little bit over. Well, if he has no HP, I do like 60% about. But I see that I do a little bit under half, meaning I know he's got HP, so I figured to use HP and attack, which didn't make a ton of sense to me just because I knew that it basically made me understand that, okay, this thing probably isn't going to shell smash on me since I did that amount of damage. It has a little bit of bulk invested. I was still a little bit worried because it has coverage to just destroy my team. So I just Volt Switch and I go out into Grimmsnarl immediately, ready to put up my screens and or Thunder Wave this thing because it is such a big threat. The turn goes really well for me as I get off a I get my Light Clay knocked off, which means my Reflect doesn't last as long, which is fine. I'm able to bring in my Arcanine next turn on his Weezing, but of course his Weezing has an Eject Pack. Just great prep, but in his part, knowing that my Arcanine would be coming in on his Weezing, and therefore he could get a free switch into his Dracovish. Especially setting up that Misty Terrain, because now I can't Will-O-Wisp, even though I should be faster. So here we'll go back again, because this all happens so fast. I switch Arcanine out. Then he gets his Dracovish out, and here I got to make a call. I think it's Choice Scarfed, or I don't want to take the risk of it being Choice Scarfed and not. Basically, if it's Choice Scarfed, he kills me, even through Reflect. And so I just couldn't take the risk of staying in and taking that damage. I decided to go for a ballsy play right away and go for my water immunity, as I felt like the Vicious Rend was just a good move. But in hindsight, I should have played it safe and just gone out to my Claydol, because my Claydol didn't do anything in this game. Like, I mean, it actually in the game didn't do anything, but my Claydol was a very expendable member of my team for my strategy. Having the frog, I could have brought that out on a number of different things and really cleaned up the game. Honestly, looking at the matchup, if I get one SD up on probably the Wheezing, I don't know if the Wheezing could have knocked me out, or maybe the Scrafty. I pretty much could have killed his entire team. I don't know what his stats were on his Gothitelle, but a +2 Life Orb Sucker Punch most likely would have killed the Gothitelle, or been very, very close, depending on his spread. And also, as we will realize later, his Dracovish was banded. So having the frog go first at +2 Life Orb, Gunk Shot most likely would have killed or done a ton of damage to the Dracovish. So I should have realized the value that I had in my frog. Just to break his team would have been insane. Would have been so nice to have. Unfortunately, I make a call right away and I pay for it heavily. He goes for Psychic Fangs and is going to immediately kill me. Now, I should have understand that he was... It took me a while to realize that my Reflect was gone because of the Psychic Fangs. But and the Reflect does not work, I believe, for the Psychic Fangs. Regardless, I should have known that he was banded most likely right here, because I bring my Arcanine in with the Intimidate, and I'm going to go for Sunny Day here. I know he can't go for a Water move. I know he's locked in, or I believe that he's locked in. I think that he's Choice Scarf at this point. And so I believe he's locked into Psychic Fangs, and I'm just saying, yep, you can go for it. I'm just going to go for, I believe, a Sunny Day here. Yep, Sunny Day, as now my Arcanine can infinitely heal, basically. I do 50% to the Wheezing. He's going to play this game. I think I just go for the Will-O-Wisp next to start to chip it down, as the Pain Split isn't going to have any effect on me anymore. And now I think he switches. Yes. So Scrafty is actually a very bulky boy. My Flamethrower in the sun only does 22%, so that is pretty insane. But as you can see, Arcanine is also pretty bulky and fast. So even if I did miss that Will-O-Wisp, his Head Smash only would have done 62, so I would not have died unless he crit, which could have been pretty bad. But I wound up dodging that. So here... I know I need to attack this thing because I think it might have Choice Scarf. I go for the Flamethrower. I realize that he is faster and he is Choice Scarf. I'm able to heal because I didn't want to die to the Psychic. And I bring in my Claydol here. This is another time where I should have realized he was banded. Jolly Choice Scarf did kill my Claydol. The whole intent was the Claydol to survive a Vicious Rend. And I must have been calking with Reflect Up or something messed up, because I really thought that I could survive a Vicious Rend. And maybe I was right. Maybe it's because I didn't calc any with Band, in which I should have known that he could not have killed me. But anyway, during the game when I was calking, whatever I did, I was under the impression that it could have been Jolly or Adamant Choice Scarf still at this point. Most likely Adamant Choice Scarf, which was good because I knew my Jolteon would be faster then. Because I did go max speed Jolteon to try to catch any speed creeping that was done. But again, things are not going very well. He's kind of breaking through my team. His team is a little bit weakened. The Scrafty's almost dead. The Weezing's almost dead. Obviously, his Dracovish is still at 100%. His Crustal's at 60 at this point. So is his Gothitelle. So I know that my Mew can win this game if I can chip the Steelix. But the problem is having an opportunity to... Why would he bring out the Steelix if he never needs to? So again, we bring out the Grimmsnarl. I'm going to get a Reflect off. Because I go first, I believe Vicious Rend does less damage as well. So Prankster actually helps me a bunch there. I'm able to get off a Reflect. I kind of wasted a turn going for the Thunder Wave. I thought maybe I should go for the Thunder Wave earlier on the Dracovish instead of going for Reflect, but I'm glad I did go for the Reflect, as that may have saved my Grimmsnarl's life. At least saved a little bit of health on it for later. But we wind up going for the Thunder Wave. I should have thought to double or just attack here. Most likely going for the Fairy move would have been the best move. That way I could have weakened the Weezing to below that Flamethrower range. I considered him doubling for a while, but he wound up just going for the Strange Steam, which was big time for me. I'm able to get in my Arcanine, start Sunny Daying up. And here I go for the Flamethrower and luckily catch him on a Strange Steam. Again, I decide I want to kill this thing. I'm only at 53% health. He brings in the Gothitelle, and I should have Flamethrowered here. If he would have tricked on my Flamethrower, I have a Choice Scarf. He would not have killed me. Instead, now he traps me. Does not allow me to basically PP stalls my Morning Sun, which I didn't have very many anyways. And I die to this Annabelle, which is kind of a funny name for Gothitelle. So unfortunately, should have gone for the Flamethrower, another 50-50. This was crucial. Losing my Arcanine is really something I couldn't afford to do. And in hindsight, he had to go for the trick there because I could have out-healed him if he did not trick me. As I would have been, he would have done Psychic down to 10%, and I would have healed back up to like 80. So basically, made a mistake there. Oh well. But allowing my Arcanine to go down means I can't get Sun up anymore. And if Sun's not up, then Jolteon can't just sweep the entire game. So it definitely put a lot of pressure on my Mew because now I didn't have a great way to chip or get rid of the Steelix at this point. My best move was Shadow Ball from Jolteon. So we'll let this play out. But basically, Gothitelle is going to kill me because I continue to struggle. I bring in my Jolteon, which Shadow Ball should have killed there. Shadow Ball the Scrafty, who is mad thick. I believe, yes, I try to set up on the Scrafty, but he is going to wind up switching. It would have been pretty incredible if I would have got a Shadow Ball off against it. But then I see that it's Dual Dance Steelix and that this game is pretty much over. This is a bad news for me. I can keep Darkest Lariating him, but because he has the lefties, I can't do enough damage. Pretty much is what it boils down to. I'm able to put up my Reflect one last time here, as I am Prankster. So that maybe I have a chance with Jolteon to weaken it enough so that Mew can kill. But we only do 32. Crit would have been really nice. He body presses to kill me there. Now I get in my Mew. Time to Dragon Dance up. And just pray for a crit. Just pray for a crit because you'll see how much Shadow Claw does. This is a 12.5% chance to crit. Don't get it. Crit would have done 55 to 60%. Don't get the second one, and now I have one last chance. I go for the Shadow Claw one last time. Don't get the third 12.5% chance to crit, and Prizzly Bear winds up winning. Great set all around on his team. I wish I would have kept my Frog alive, as then the Steelix would not have been as big of an issue, or really any of his mons. They were all susceptible to a +2 attack one way or another. And my Frog would outsped absolutely everything. So props to Prizzly. He had great sets all around. Choice Band really broke through my team, especially since I lost my water immunity right away. So great play on his part. Still searching for that first win versus Prizzly. Hopefully, if I see him in playoffs, which is a pretty good chance. Let's actually pull up the league here and go to the rankings. So not all the games are in. I believe the Morpeko Chargers did lose. So me and the Morpeko Chargers are going to be really, really close. Our differential is the only thing that's going to keep me on top. So I moved to 3-4, the first time I've ever been had a losing record in draft. 4 losses. I don't know if I've ever had more than 4 losses in a season. So definitely just showing that I got to step my game up, but also that this league is legit. Like there really aren't any free weeks, and if you're gonna make mistakes, then you're gonna pay for it. Obviously, I understand that with a few 50-50s here and there, I could work my way all the way up to if everything went my way, I could have a chance to still be undefeated. That would be absolutely insane and improbable. But I think losing just about every 50-50 in my close games, it is unfortunate, but you rather have it happen in the regular season rather than the playoffs. So just looking ahead to the future, the schedule does get a little bit easier. Looking at my team, we did make one last change. We did get rid of the Deblade, which sounds pretty crazy because it's a steel and ghost type. But by adding Pillow Swine, we allow another mon that can bring rocks and also still threaten opposing dragon types with priority, just like Deblade does, but with super effective priority. And then maintaining the bulk of Pillow Swine is going to be just really big for my team, as Deblade really, to do anything, needs to set up. And even then, that wasted turn and momentum, it just makes it really, really difficult for Deblade to do work, or at least I have not done a good job of being super effective with the blade. So unfortunately, we do lose our spin blocker, but we gain one of the best rockers and a very good offensive stab moves in ice and ground in Pillow Swine. I think I'm going to change the name of my Glossopod from Ymir to something else, because Ymir is, at least in Smite, is it's one of the giants that created everything in Norse mythology, but by letting Pillow Swine take Ymir, the name, I think that's going to fit, because Ymir is said to be a frost giant or an ice giant of some sort. So I think that would work better just on a naming sense. But unfortunately, let's see here. Yep, let's look at the schedule here. The team that we need to stay ahead of is the Anaheim Psyducks, and hopefully we will be able to do that. But basically right now we'll have, so we lost to the Beartics 0-5, 0-5. That's rough. So then we have a regional bird who A-Bird's at 1 win right now. But his team is very, very threatening and easily can kill, or maybe he's got 2 wins, easily can sweep through your entire team if you're not prepared. So definitely a scary one. The San Jose Aracudas, a team looking for the playoffs on the other side of the bracket. The Utah Copperajah, who I think really is a similar team to mine, as some weeks just haven't gone Ben's way. And so basically all 3 of these teams, what I'm saying is they are looking for the playoffs as well and really trying to fight back into it. So they're going to be looking for wins as much as I am. And then we get the rematch of last year's championship game against the Washington Alakazam. So still a chance to hopefully round out the season with a couple more wins and make the playoffs. But the start that we had was a pretty difficult one, going against a 1-loss team. Luckily, we were able to come out with the win against Magnus and the Morpico Chargers, but then playing Cole, losing a heartbreaker there, playing the undefeated team. Just been a tough schedule, but that's what I'd rather have it be. That's what I'd rather have it be. I'd rather you got to play the best and beat the best to become the best. So if you don't challenge yourself, then you're not getting better. If you're not getting better, you're getting worse. So hopefully we can continue to get better and be prepared to be successful in the playoffs. All right. Sorry, I just went on that big long rant at the end. Love the league. Take care, guys. I'll see you later. Deuces.